You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio Channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of the Luvcoach Show with guest Lillian Muller. We would like to thank them both to share this with our listeners on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network.
We're in this love together. We got the kind that lasts forever. We're in this love together. And like berries on the vine, it gets sweeter all the time.
Yes, welcome everybody. We are in this love together on the Luvcoach Show. Hello, my name is Bruce Starr, and I'm the host of the Luvcoach Show. You know, I've been on a 38-year self-study on several different philosophies on life. And starting about 20 years ago, I started doing radio and television shows, sharing what I've learned from some of the great teachers and mentors in the world of relationships. And today, I am very, very excited to have on my show one of the great personalities, one of the great characters of the world of love. Lillian Muller was the 1976 Playboy Playmate of the Year and the person who is the most featured Playmate of the Year in the history of Playboy with 9 covers. And she is going to be here today. She's going to talk about her career, her life as Playmate of the Year, but we're also going to be talking about eating healthy to stay young. You're just not going to believe how old Lillian is when you see pictures of her. I thought I was the oldest one around. My God, Lillian has me by a couple of years. You just won't believe how gorgeous and how fit she is. You'll have to go to her website, LillianMuller.com. And you know what? Lillian has been featured in more than 30 movies and television shows. She's been on Remington Steele, Starsky and Hutch, Once Upon a Spy, Fantasy Island. It goes on and on and on. And she has studied with some of the greats, the Actors Studio in Hollywood, the same place that created actors like Al Pacino and Gene Hackman. She has starred opposite some great leading men, Tom Selleck, Tony Curtis, Rock Hudson, Bill Cosby. Goodness gracious. Co-starred with Pierce Brosnan, Elliot Gould, Dudley Moore. The list goes on and on. And many of you would know her for the portrayal of Lillian in the leading video, Rod Stewart's video, Do You Think I'm Sexy? She was the one who he was talking about. And I am so thrilled to have you on the show today, Lillian. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here.
Oh, thank you, Bruce. You sound good. you sound cute and charming and you know, uplifting and young and everything else.
Well, yeah. Lillian, now my face is all pink because if you say something...
mine too. Anyway, no, I like your attitude, and you know this thing about aging. You know, people have, you know, including myself over the years, very preoccupied with the aging thing, and you know, the older I get, chronologically, the kind of younger I feel physically. So it's all about lifestyle. We don't have to automatically go downhill and get old. You know, you can stay young. You can get younger as you get older. How about that one? I like that.
You know, that is so
mindset,
true.
You know, it's an attitude thing. It's yeah.
it's so true. And, when I tell people that I'm, a little bit funny about what I eat and how I eat it, like I stay away from GMOs, and I try to eat vegetables that don't have the pesticides and are organic. And sometimes when you have conversations with people about that, they make fun of you. And I say, you know what? Every single day, you can either eat healthy foods that will keep you one step closer to staying healthy and looking fit, or you can eat foods that are not healthy for you and bring you one step closer to not being fit and gaining weight.
Well, it's not just about gaining weight. I mean, the healthier food. I mean, the more positive thoughts. Your thought pattern, if you keep it very positive and optimistic, I think, it's almost like you go out and the flowers sometimes close at night, and in the morning they open up and the sun comes out. I think the body in a very similar way, because if we have positive, optimistic thought, happy thought, joyous thought in our mind, I think it's almost feeding the body, good, positive energy, so you're much healthier. So if you can do it with your mindset and then do it with your food and then exercise and use your muscles and your bones at your so-called age, then you can be pretty much young at any age. But, I think the mindset and the body, the physical body goes together so much. I mean, you almost cannot have one and not the other, You're really total, complete healthy person. Mind and body, spiritual is also so important.
Well, I know, Lillian, you told me that you kind of spend part of your year in places like Los Angeles and the United States, and you are from Norway. Could you tell us about what it was like to grow up in a country like Norway?
Norway, Norway is like, for international people, it's a little bit like you're used to living in this big city. Like right now I'm living in LA, and here it's like, it's like the biggest city. Go to Norway, it's like, a little bit in the middle of nowhere. But I really like that. I find that very charming. I go to Norway, it's super quiet, small cities or small towns. People are a little bit more simple-minded, of course, unless you go to Oslo, which is a big international city. It's a million people there. People are very worldly, like I said, international-oriented. But most of Norway, it's small places. People are more simple-minded. They're not as maybe ambitious as they are here. Maybe I wouldn't say that they're not big thinkers, but they don't have the same type of ambition to become rich and famous. And that's not on most people's mind in Norway. They're more happy with everyday life, the way it is, small things in life. They're a little bit more spiritually oriented. I love Norway, but I like to have the best of both worlds. I spend time in LA, and I spend time in my hometown Kristiansand in Norway. I go to Oslo. I'm like a little bit of an international gypsy. I like to fly around and enjoy people and enjoy life in different places.
And so, Lillian, tell us how someone, because I know you said you have such good positive thinking. Did you always have that? And how does a small town girl from a company like Norway, how does she find herself in a place like LA, working with Playboy?
Well, I was actually Miss Norway runner-up at 21. So I got a little bit taste of being a little famous, I guess, at a very young age. So I decided after that, becoming number 2 in this Norway contest, that, hey, why not go for it and maybe become number 1 somewhere? So I don't want to remain number 2. I think that was, a little bit of an ambition or a little bit of a challenge. So one day I just decided after college that I was going to go to London and become a model. And I went to London by myself, actually, from Norway. And then I became a model, and I became a big model within 6 months to a year. Playboy saw me. I was like page 3 girl, for God's sake. Page 3 London Sun. That's how it started. I had a record at that time of being the London Sun page 3 girl. I think I was on there in there about 5 times before Playboy saw me, and then they invited me to come to America and be a centerfold, and then I became Playmate of the Year. It was, a little bit of a roller coaster ride. It happened very quickly. It's not like I really worked for that. I was just kind of in the right place at the right time, and I was prepared, I guess, and I got my opportunities. So, yeah, it all happened within a year's time. And then, of course, I met Hugh Hefner. When I came to America, I met Hugh Hefner. and I had seen him on television and a little bit, and I wasn't very familiar with Playboy or Hugh Hefner. I never ever, imagined in my life that I was going to be in Playboy or date Hugh Hefner or anything of that type of lifestyle, So when it happened to me, it was like a big fairy tale when I met him, and I was totally infatuated from basically day one. It was unbelievable. He was so gorgeous. I mean, he was Mr. Handsome and super charming and very interesting, and I fell very madly in love with Hugh Hefner that year. And I met him in Chicago. I came to Chicago. I was shot my centerfold in the Playboy building in Chicago. And then he invited me to go to, because he was there. There was a funeral situation with his secretary who had committed suicide at that time. And he was in a very low part of his life at that time, very sad and very depressed. And so I met him at that time in his life, and I guess, I don't know, maybe I helped cheer him up a little bit, but that was a very hard time for him at that time. So, but anyway, after we had met in Chicago and I'd shot my centerfold and gotten to know him for a few weeks, then he invited me to come to stay with him at the Playboy Mansion West here in Los Angeles. And that's how this year with him started. And then after that, I did Playboy covers over the years. I did a lot of Playboy covers, and I did a lot of pictorials over the years. I think I've been in the magazine over 50 times, but the cover I've done 9 times. And internationally, with the Japanese edition and German and French and Italian, I must have, 30, 40 covers for Playboy over the years. And I'm very proud of that part of my past, by the way. I think Playboy is the magazine when it comes to nudity. I think it's super classy. It's a smart magazine, has great interviews, and it still does. It still does. Now my 23-year-old daughter is like, oh, I don't know, Mom, should I do Playboy? I have a 23-year-old daughter now, and we're writing a book together, actually. Isn't that fun?
So you're writing a book. Let me hear about that.
Yeah. Well, I did a book when I was pregnant. I had my daughter in 1990, in November of 1990. And when I was pregnant, I couldn't do very much modeling and I couldn't do much acting. I'd gotten myself into the acting industry by that time, but my stomach was getting bigger by the month. And my fiancé, my daughter's father at that time said, "Why, you're going to write a book?" And I go, "Why? I can't write a book. Are you kidding me? I'm not an author." And he goes, "Well, all those big, long 20-page letters you write to your sisters and your grandmother and your family. Why don't you just sit down and write everything you know and everything you would like to tell other women, but they should know about health and fitness and staying fit and young as they get older and stuff." And I go, well, maybe. I'm good at writing letters. So I ended up sitting there for a year, almost daily, with a pencil and a pad and a huge bowl of air popcorn without butter and salt. And that's how my book, Feel Great, Be Beautiful, Over 40 happened. And I basically got a book deal right away after my book was published. And it went into 3 printings, and I'm at the time now where I'm really looking at the book in the last year. I'm thinking, that book is a great book, but now we are in 2014. We need to do a little rewrite here and update the book. And then I thought of my daughter, who is very much like myself. It's like talking about mini me here. She's born and raised vegetarian, vegan. She's gorgeous. She's 23 years old. She's very educated, university educated. And one of her majors is English. She's a very, very good writer. And we were just talking, about 6 months ago about writing a book together. And then I thought, we have a book, and I said, well, take a look at the book one more time. She read it while she grew up, but, probably forgot most of that. So she read it again, and she really got inspired. And we are now revising my original health book, and we're actually making pretty much a brand new book. And we are aiming it for next year, 2015, because I got to celebrate 40 years as a Playmate. That's next year. And then the following, if something should happen, and it shouldn't come out till 2016, then I have Playmate of the Year to 40 years later celebration. So, so people can expect a great book in the next couple of years. Hopefully it will be very inspirational, informing.
Wow, that is going to be spectacular. 40 years. Mother-daughter book. Wow,
yeah.
That's right. You had your first cover in '76, and 40 years later will be 2000.
I had my first cover booth in August of '75. That was my centerfold cover pictorial, and then I had the Christmas cover for '75. And then all the girls that had been in the magazine in Playboy in 1975, we were all pictured together of the cover of Playboy in January of 1976. And then, and then it was 77. And, all these covers followed. My last cover for Playboy was 1990. I think it was 1990. Well, like 1986. And, Yeah, but, it's not over till it's over, right? I would like to do another one. How's that? And make a little history while you're at it,
Let me tell you something, Lillian. I mean,
you can laugh hard, but something? It can happen.
I've been following you on Facebook. I've been following you, and I've been watching the pictures that you've been putting up, in the last year with your daughter, just, having fun at the beach. And Lillian, you have not skipped a beat. You look just as gorgeous, just as sexy, just as pretty as you looked years and years ago.
Wow.
Well, it's just,
it's a mature beauty compared to a really youth beauty. You know what I mean? It's a different type of beauty. I just feel that us women and the men and you guys, for every decade, the package pretty much remains the same and just as valuable because it's just that, we might lose a little bit physically, but we gain it by gaining wisdom and knowledge and that's kind of sexy, for me. A perfect body, beautiful, perfect skin and all that stuff, that's well and good. But you got to have a little charm and a little good energy and a little kind of attitude to go with it. I met so many beautiful, physically perfect people over the years, but, the minute they open their mouth, it's all over. They rather not speak, They're more better when they're quiet because they're so beautiful, but, they don't have much personality or character. They're not interesting. So, for me, I would rather have some imperfections physically and have more knowledge and wisdom to offer. And that's why I think that a magazine like Playboy, they should do a cover feature on a couple of people around the world that are older because it's also a way for Playboy to be part of that new wave. You can get better with age, and just because you get older chronologically, it doesn't mean that you get older really. You can get younger, actually. And if you eat healthy, you think positive and optimistic, you work out, you use your muscles, you use your skeleton. Why can't you be at your peak at 70? Look at Raquel Welch. I mean, there's one right there. She's one of my role models. And then you have Jessica Tandy, who got an Oscar at 81, Bruce. Hey, I'm back into the acting industry. I'm starting in the fall. What can I tell you? I really did my thing when I was real young. Now, as an older woman or mature woman or what the hell you want to call it, I'm going back into the acting industry. And I think I have much more to offer as an actor today than I did in my 20s and 30s. I walk my talk. That's what it is, I walk my talk. You've got to walk your talk. You can't just walk around and talk pretty and say all these things and not live it. And another thing, I think people say to me, oh, wow, how could you get through the Hefner period and all these guys you dated, like Telly Savalas and Tom Selleck and Tony Curtis and, all these, hot show businessmen. How could you get through it all without doing drugs and alcohol? And I always say, I never, ever had a temptation to try alcohol. I never had a drink in my life. I never had a beer. I never had a glass of wine. Never tried champagne when they were popping the corks at in New Year's. And I was high on life, basically, from the very beginning. And I have worked it. Because, being happy is not an automatic thing. It's something you get up in the morning. It's a new job every day. You open your eyes. It's, happiness, it's not that easy. People think, oh, you're so happy and optimistic all the time. Yeah, but I consider that part of my job. I don't want to walk around and be a negative influence on other people in my life every day. Like here maybe with you. I don't know how many people are listening, to this. But, if I have a little chance, I like to show people you can be an optimist. And, me like everybody else, we all have a bag of problems every day. We have things to deal with. There are people dying and people are sick and there's all kinds of economical problems in our family and there's this and that all the time. It's non-stop in big families. And, it's easy to get down and depressed and look at the negative side of life. But I don't think we can afford to do that. I think happiness is a responsibility. Really a responsibility.
Lillian, I'm going to just make a quick announcement, and then if you'll hold on for just a minute or two, we'll be right back. Because after we get back from this short break, this announcement, I want to talk about the wonderful work that you're doing with fitness and beauty and eating habits and vegetarian. So give me 2 minutes. Don't go away. Sure. I just want the folks to know that in 1993, I started hosting and producing my own South Florida radio and television shows called Love Works with Bruce Starr. And at the time, I learned about America Online when they had only 300,000 members. I opened up a room called relationship coaching. And over a 10-year period of time, I had over 6,000 intimate, detailed, documented conversations with people from around the world. And I wrote my book called Body Traders, Transforming Back from Player to Lover as a result of what I learned from those 6,000 intimate, detailed conversations. And now for the first time, I'm offering that information and sharing it in my Body Trader Academy webinars starting in this May. If you want more information about that, please visit my bodytraders.com website or my Luvcoach, LUVcoach.net website, and you can learn all about it there. Also, for the first time, I'm announcing the Love Coaches Matchmaking Society. I'm not going to just be setting you up with dates, but you will be working closely with me, the Love Coach, to release those bad habits that have resulted in anger or disappointment or rejection and loneliness, and I will instead help you create a new, healthy, strong foundation to base a healthy, happy, secure, warm, caring, kind relationship upon. I can take only 10 clients, so if you'd like more information about that or the webinars, please contact me at bodytraders.com or Luvcoach, LUVcoach.net, and also learn about the Body Trader Academy events that I will be holding in cities around the country, where we'll all get together with like-minded people to transform you back from player to lover and create a new foundation to return to love in your life. Okay, Lillian, thank you so much for waiting. Lillian, I'm so impressed with, takes a lot to look great after you're 35, 40, 45, 50. And can we say how old we are, Lillian?
No, I'm celebrating like crazy my 63rd birthday on August 19th, and I'll be in Norway. And I'm going to be celebrating. I'm not doing nude pictures, but almost. I have Norway's #1 lady photographer who shot all the FHM and all the beautiful women stuff over there. He just shot my daughter a year and a half ago for a big Norwegian men's magazine, but beautiful. I mean, classy, high-end stuff. And I'm going to celebrate my 63rd birthday by shooting with him. And I'm doing a cover story for Norway's biggest celebrity magazine together with my daughter, because I had her when I was almost 40, so it's so fun because when I turned 60, she was 23 and she's 23. So we have actually, since she was 17 years old, we have done Norway's biggest celebrity magazine and posing with the bathing suits, the hardest bathing suits of the season. We do mother-daughter, so we can inspire the mature women and the young women. So we're going to do it also this summer on my 63rd birthday. So, yeah. Now, something, Bruce, it's a win-win thing because, something, it takes living to learn. You can't just, when people just warn you about things and they tell you about things and, you can read it in the books and all these self-help books and, I've read a ton of those over the years, like most of us, right? But it takes living to really figure it out and to get the wisdom, and really understand and know. So I just think that, 63 is great. I mean, I have plans to get better and better and get my life to be better and better and a better example for healthy living. I want to do and be active as long as I live. I cannot imagine retiring, marrying like a multi-billionaire and retire, that kind of thing. I don't know how those women do it. I'm just going to find a super rich man so I don't have to work anymore. That kind of thing. Work, that's such a blessing. That's how you develop yourself and find your talents. And, you got to suffer a little bit once in a while. It shouldn't always be so easy. It's good. It's good to go down a little bit. And you really learn to get back up.
What an outlook.
63 is good.
What an outlook on life that you have. And then you back it up with being named PETA's sexiest vegetarian over 50. And you are one of the great vegetarians. Tell us about how long you've been a vegetarian and what is it like to live as a vegetarian?
Well, life as a vegetarian is fantastic. But I'm not actually a vegetarian. I mean, I'm a vegan. I'm a plant-based person. I started at 27, so I've been actually a vegetarian or vegan now for on and off. I vary it a little bit, but I've been a non-meat eater since I was 27 years old. So now that's 37 years ago since I started. And I'm not going to tell you that I have never cheated in these 37 years I have. I mean, it was very, very hard. After I made a commitment to become a vegan and stop eating all animal products, it still took me 10 years to really complete that plan and to get rid of my cravings. Because that's you know those grilled chickens in like at Whole Foods and those the markets, you know, they go around.
Yeah.
And then you know, women when they have PMS and stuff, and now, you know, I'm menopausal, so it's kind of hormonal, you know. So yeah, so all these years either going through periods of PMS or menopause or what the hell. And my hormones, when they were upside down, and I would walk around those chickens that went around. Yeah, then I feel the cravings come on. But it took me 10 years. And, you know, I was bad because 10 years. I mean, I would really give in to my temptation. I would be like, oh, my God, I got to have one of those chickens. And I just, like, kind of sneak it into my bag. And, you know, and then my daughter, when she was old enough, she said, Mom, that's how it started that I really got off the chicken, because she would say, Mom, you can't eat that. You got to walk your talk. She started like that when she was 4 and looked at Animal Planet and saw all those documentaries on television, you know, when they were bad to animals, you know. She said, Mom, you're vegan. You go out there and you lecture about how to be a vegan and, you know, get off animal products. You can't eat chicken. I'm going to tell on you. I mean, I'm serious. And then I would take her a couple of lectures over the years, and she said, Mom, if I ever see you eat chicken again, I'm going to tell on you. So, you know, in the end, it was just too much of a hassle. Because even if I bought the chicken and I said I hadn't eaten it, if she got into the car in the morning, she'd go, Mom, I smell chicken here. Did you eat chicken yesterday? Oh, God, what the hell? She was a vegan since she was born, so, you know. So,
wow.
But anyway, it's many years ago now. I'm totally off any type of meat. I have no more cravings for meat. And I can tell you, since I stopped eating any type of meat or dairy products also, it's very, very rare I cheat on the dairy products. Maybe an organic piece of cheese or an ice cream or something a couple of times a year, but that's as far as that goes. I have no health problems. I've never been sick in all these years. I haven't seen doctors. Oh, yeah, I saw a doctor last year when I was in Norway, because my sister says, Lillian, it's free doctor here in Norway. I know it's not free in America. You should go to the doctor and have a check, because you haven't been to the doctor, right, since you had your daughter 23 years ago. And I said, no, I haven't. All right, I'll have a check. I went to the doctor. Everything was cool, except my hormones were low because, you know, I'm menopausal. Or I'm past menopause. I'm not quite sure. But at least that was the only thing, and everything was perfect. And I don't suffer from any lack of anything. And I don't, you know, I don't really take a lot of supplements. People ask me, you know, you look as good as you do. I mean, I have some wrinkles, by the way. People go, pictures is pictures, Bruce, okay? There's great lighting. I always tell women, you know, you have a dynamite photographer, you have great lighting, you have great photography ability going on, like some of these photographers I've shot with over the years. They're fantastic, you know. Beautiful lighting, great camera angles, some cute little outfits, got makeup on, you know. And then, you know, and there's Photoshop in this world. And I think that Photoshop is a little bit two-edged sword, because, you know, people don't look like them anymore. It's like, you know, these pictures out there are ridiculous. You know, you see the person, because I dated a photographer. I lived with somebody for 12 years. We just broke up actually a few months ago. But I would see the women come into the studio in the morning who were going to shoot all these covers of all these magazines, because he's one of the biggest in the world, this guy. And they look like regular nice women. I could mention a couple of names here that are very famous, you know. And you don't really look at them. They come in their sweats in the morning, no makeup, hair down, nothing, no glamour. And then by the time, you know, the glamorous, you know, change has taken place, it's like, you know, when they get up on stage or wherever, you know, to shoot for the pictures. And then by the time the picture is done and on the cover of the magazine, I'd say that woman looks like two different human beings in real life in the morning and on that cover of the magazine. Most women look like two different people. So,
Lillian,
I don't know how
I just want to
myself.
I'm curious about what beauty tips, because it's one thing, like you and I are almost the same age. My skin I look exactly the same. My hair is all dark. My skin texture is the same, but most people don't have that. What would you say, what do you do, Lillian, to keep your skin, say, soft and the way you want it.
Well, you have to understand that, I mean, they advertised all these all these makeup lines, buy this cream and that cream, and that will take away wrinkles, and that will take away wrinkles. That's not the way I look at it. I believe that your skin is a result of your bloodstream. If you have a detox body like I do, I mean, living on plant products and plant foods for over 30 years, of course, it takes about 7 years for your body to totally detox and totally, become new or totally renewed. Every 7 years, everything, your metabolism and everything changes. So if you've been through a 7-year period and, like me, 7 years, many times over, talks that my skin, I do have some wrinkles in my face. I do laugh and I do scream once in a while, and I get a little pissed off, or I'm a little worried, or I'm very happy, or something. So, of course, it leaves a little, some lines. But, I don't have really much hanging on my body and my face, because I think my body is so healthy and my blood is so healthy and clean and pure that automatically I have good skin texture. So that's how I do it. And I do that with pure thinking. I mean, not that I'm always 100% successful at being a positive, optimistic person, but I try 24/7 to do that. And most of the time I do succeed. I'm becoming more and more better at it every year. So, and then with the clean food, I focus on a lot of fresh juices. Like when we had a little break here, I was out picking oranges in the yard. And I drink between 1 and 2 liters of freshly squeezed orange juice, organic, of course. I don't like pesticides and fertilizers or the GMOs like you were talking about in the beginning of the program. I like everything organic if it's possible to get it. I'd rather spend my money on organic fruits and vegetables than I will on makeup and clothing. I don't really care what's the latest fashion and if I wear design or what the hell I wear. But I do care about a clean bloodstream and a clean blood, clean body and being super healthy and looking radiant, because that's, not only my job, but it's my personal hobby. And I want to live a long way of 100. So when you have those that type of goals and that type of thinking, you pay your dues with eating healthy, thinking positive, getting enough exercise to keep your muscles and bones strong. I mean, not overdoing it. But the thing about food is the more raw food, getting into the raw aspect of food, the more raw food you eat, the better. Spend your day eating raw food. Forget going out to those lunches and dinners and eating all the cooked food in all these fancy restaurants, Focus on salads and focus on fruits and vegetables. Lots of juices, carrot juice, beet, ginger in the juice, raw garlic. Phenomenal. It's like drinking the earth, the organic soil. And then also fresh orange juice and apple juice with a little ginger in there, and tomato juice. I mean, you can juice pretty much everything that you got in the garden and everything you buy at the farmer's market. And I think that all the fresh juices is like your number one type of thing for good health. Fresh juices and positive thinking. I mean, those two. And enough exercise, that it's fresh, right? And that the biggest elimination organ on your body is your skin. It's not on your armpits or whatever. It's on your skin. So, you're going to sweat, and then you're going to clean your body with lukewarm water, and then finish with a cold shower to close your pores. And then put your body full of coconut oil. Buy raw organic coconut oil.
Yes, coconut oil, yes.
Put that on your body. And in your face and in your hair and everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah, there's little stuff like that. But I do think that beauty is an inside job. I think that people who are beautiful usually have a beautiful mindset. I mean, there are people who are not so-called classically gorgeous, perfect, or what the hell. I don't really consider that beauty anyway. But somebody who has a radiant energy and a positive vitality, I look at that. Look at Danny DeVito, for God's sake. Remember how cute and charming and adorable he was on Taxi? I mean, as an example of somebody who's not tall and gorgeous and perfectly built or whatever. And I just look at women, too. I look at some of these models, to get to know them. They're not very exciting or kind or sweet or beautiful inside. So they lose it outside for me because, beauty is just kind of skin deep in the way we normally look at beauty. But I do think beauty is an inside thing, and I think it's an inside thing when it comes to actually flawless skin, too, or good skin. It's clean blood, and you do get that with fruits and vegetables and a lot of water. And then you clean your colon occasionally, colon hydrotherapy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's something that really, really works. Like once a month or something, go and have your colon cleaned. And, of course, the diet, the less perfect it is, the more colon cleansing you need, because your colon is like a garbage disposal. A lot of stuff accumulates there, and that's not very good for your beauty or your health. I know that was a lot.
That's excellent. Great advice. And you know, what really I love so much about you.
Cigarettes. You can't have cigarettes. You can't have drugs, of course. That's, without saying those. I never had tried a drug or cigarettes. Like I said, I never had alcohol, and I'm just really high on life. But, I make myself high on life, It's a little bit of a job. I work on it, Beauty and appreciation and gratitude. That's where we have to live that way.
And I also
and then thinking,
love
another thing, Bruce, people go, wow, Lillian, you're going back into acting, you're 63, and I'm over the hill, and, it's a youth culture over there in Hollywood. And so what? Rules are to be broken. You got to break out of these molds, and you got to, you make a new category, or you do something a little different, I think it's all individual, and thank God for that. You can't categorize everything and everybody. And like I said, rules and laws are, not laws maybe, but rules are to be broken, So if it didn't happen before, so what? Maybe you can be the first one, right?
I love the way you think, and also that you don't just, when you've learned this very invaluable stuff, and you're a professional speaker, you're a presenter, people do documentaries about you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in all these last years, I have lived quite a bit in Norway, and involved with, every year I do a reality show as myself, a series, and that's fun, it's fun to go to Norway, and since I'm so established and well-known, I can go and pick up, a nice paycheck every year, and then I kind of come back to America where my daughter was born, and I have a lot of my friends, and, I like my gyms here, and I like California with all the orange trees, and easy access to all the health food stores and all the vegan organic restaurants. I do tend to spend at least a half year or maybe more in Los Angeles. And but I like to go to Norway and work, and it's fun to work in my own country with my own peers and with my own, my family live there. And it's a challenge, they say you can't be a prophet in your own country or something like that. Well, I am kind of a prophet in my own country. So it is a little bit harder when you have been so many years abroad, and especially, Playboy, my Playboy career has worked for me, but it's also tended to work against me at times. So, I've had that thing, it had taken me a while to be taken seriously and kind of proved that there's more to me than my physical appearance and my sex appeal. So, yeah. So, but anyway, I want to continue working in Norway. I want to continue doing TV shows and talk shows and doing a lot of media and magazine, all kinds of, from fitness to woman magazine, family magazine, man's magazine, you name it, newspapers. I love to be involved in my own country, but I do now when I come back I'm leaving here next week. I go to Norway next week, and I go for about 4 months. I have different projects that I'm involved in for this summer. But when I come back in August, I intend to really go for it as an actress in America. I want to get agents. I want to go and do TV commercials. I want to go back into print and do modeling like I used to do. Because now they have classic divisions in most major agencies, for women over, 40, 50 and above. There are women all the way up to the 80s working now on international runways. They are working. There are some very famous models in the 80s. So these are my role models, It's good. We all have role models to look up to. And, people are paving the way all the time out there. It's a good time to be a woman, and it's a good time to be a mature woman today. I'm really looking forward to my future. It's, and of course I have great faith in God. I mean, without my faith in God, I wouldn't be anywhere. So that really put me through everything. My faith in God and my conviction that there's a purpose, I guess, a purpose or a mission with my life. I always hang on to that when I have gone through hard times. And, chips are down, as they say it in America, I always feel that, I'm going to come out of it. This is just like temporary. Like when my back goes out once in a while, and I can't barely walk. So it's like, this is temporary, 2 weeks later, I'm going to be back in the gym. I'll be doing my stairs, and I'll be jogging, back to my normal thing. I never look at something that is always going to be like this now. I always think it's temporary. Every time there's something negative going on, I'm going to work myself out of this. I'm going to get myself out of this. I've done it before many times. I can do it again. And I will do it forever. As long as I live, I'll be doing that. And I do have faith that God is with me and guides me, protects me, leads me. And I'm not alone. I think that's very important to have that faith. I don't know people who have no faith in God. A higher power. I don't know how they survive. That must be an extremely scary life. I couldn't do it.
Well, that's very true. People are very afraid when they think they're alone and it's just them against the world. Lillian, we could probably do 2 or 3 more shows.
Yes, because
but
next time.
I want to thank you so much for being on the Love Coach Show. What a wonderful guest you've been. How terrific, how inspiring. I could not have imagined doing a better show with a more interesting, a beautiful, sexy lady. I want to thank you so much for being on this.
Thank you. And if people want to be my fan, they can go to Lillian Muller Public Figure on Facebook and like my page.
Yes, Lillian Muller, Muller on Facebook, and she's looking forward to having you as a fan of hers. So please be sure to do that. Also, her website, Lillian Muller, LillianMuller.com. Please visit that. So much great information there. Beautiful pictures, everything about Lillian. Thank you, Lillian.
Oh, you're good, Bruce. Thank you. I really appreciate all the positivity towards me. Good luck with your work in this radio show.
Thank you. We'll speak again soon. You're listening to the Love Coach Show. We've been talking to Lillian Muller. Thank you so much for being here, and come back and listen to our show again. Bye-bye now, everybody.
Love together. We got the kind that lasts